Hello, hello. Welcome back to the garden. It is early August, and as promised, we will be planting our second go at beets together. First, we're going to clear this bed out of any debris and old plants. It's best to put seeds in already damp soil, and it's been raining off and on all day. This, combined with the very warm days we've had lately, makes this almost the perfect condition for seeds to germinate. All we have to do is soften the soil. As life circumstances come, they can challenge us, and if we're not diligent, we can become hard and compact, and so too can the soil as time and the elements do its work on it. As a result of laying gentle, loving attention on both my heart and the soil, I have had the most joy and abundance in the garden I've had in years. Alongside planting beet seeds, I'm going to touch on just a few super simple, essential truths, and I hope they land in your heart as a gentle hug, reminding you to love yourself and your life. First, stop and smell the lavender. The frequency of grief, traumatic experiences, apathy, stress, and busyness can really convince us that we do not need these special little moments. Trust me, we do. In fact, it is what life sustains itself on. We will wither without taking pauses to take in the goodness. It is a sacred relationship between our hearts and life, the witnessed and the witnesser. If one disappears, they both will cease to have a purpose and so will no longer exist. That's right, my friend. Your love is essential. Secondly, nobody has their stuff entirely together in the way we may perceive. No one is above the need for support. No one is too hard for the need for gentleness or compassion or an occasional, "How are you doing today?" A soft word goes a long way for everyone. Likewise, no one is all the way sour either. In spite of our experience and perceptions of people, there is just no way that we can fully understand, perceive, and grasp the complexity of a person. I'm not saying that we should stand with the door open to anyone who wants to come into our lives. We ourselves are on our own nuanced, special, delicate journey and have to employ healthy boundaries and good judgment. It is our right to decide which hands we allow close enough to touch our lives. Compassion for all means compassion for ourselves first, also, to protect our peace and to cherish our hearts. But for heaven to come to earth, for new life to move like a miracle into a lifeless thing, we must soften our soil, soften our hearts. We must become less rigid and hard in our thoughts, always learning anew the balance and the nuance of being inside the human condition, relating to others. The third super simple tip for making life flow is put things away. Take the extra few steps, the extra couple of seconds to walk the thing over there and put it away. A tidy space that makes sense to you is an overwhelmingly important part of creating a good life. It is easier on the mind and the nervous system, supports creativity and calmness. It's even recognized in the directives by God. Cleanliness is godliness. Why? Because life doesn't want to walk through constant chaos. This might sound silly, but in order to keep myself from frustratingly wandering around, looking for the thing I was just using, I will acknowledge out loud that I'm laying something here so I can easily recall where I put it. I'm putting my rig right here. I got these beet seeds from my local nursery, and I'm kind of just going to get real creative with it. This is a beet blend. We'll see what happens. I love the sun gold beets, but they don't grow as easily here. They're not as prolific as the red beets, but I love beets either way. And then these beet seeds from the Seed Savers Exchange. I've planted these before and they're pretty successful. They grow in all types of interesting shapes, and they're always just really delicious, that really dark, earthy flavor, whereas the golden beets are a little sweeter. I'm going to share with you guys a cool little tip that I've learned about how to most successfully put seeds in the ground. I used to just dump them into my hand and then pick them out two at a time and plant them, but as your fingers get more mucked up with dirt and the seeds in your hands get kind of the dirt debris, it gets harder and harder to just pluck 2 seeds at a time. So I've learned a different method. You're going to want a bowl to pour all of your seeds into. This way you are not trying to fish tiny little seeds out of the folds of your hand. And since I don't really care about anything but beets right now, I'm going to fill this whole bed and empty out all of these seed packets into this bowl. And the fun part about succession planting is that as you go throughout the season, you become more relaxed with it, more and more relaxed, and so I'm not even going to worry about sorting these beets out. I did in the beginning of the year. I labeled them even, and that was really fun, but now I just want to get some beet seeds in the ground. Another tip, I have been trying to care more about my hands. These are my money makers, and also it's just kind of a form of self-care. As you can see, I have a little dirt under my nails. That's fine, but I used to garden without any gloves, and while that might be a little charming, it just stopped being the look I was going for. So now I use a rubber glove. Yes, a rubber glove, because they're less thick than garden gloves, and garden gloves actually, I'm not sure why this happens, but they're porous and water and dirt get through there. Plus the garden gloves make it easier for me to precisely pick out. To lay these babies in the ground, just take 2 at a time, press them about 1 inch into the soil every 4 inches, and then as they grow up and sprout, I will thin them out by taking up the weaker of each. Now dancing in the mud to tamp down the soil and firm up the seeds. And remember the rake I put over there. We're going to pull the loosened hay mulch back over the top of the soil. And we're going to lay a fresh layer of straw on top. This is one of my favorite parts of gardening. It's so satisfying. Kind of like power washing your deck or vacuuming the carpet. It just leaves this really fresh, good looking coverage, spruces up the garden. I probably don't have to tell you that using mulch in this way helps to retain the soil's moisture and keeps the weeds out. And here we have a freshly seeded and hay mulched early August bed of beets. And we'll let Mother Nature pretty much do the rest. Aside from coming out and visiting every day and saying hello, you guys have been with me all season, and the little loving visits to the seedlings and the growing plants and the critters that come in the yard, everything. I don't care who you are, how self-sufficient and lone wolfy you are, so am I, and everything in God's creation likes to be seen, witnessed, admired, complimented even. And so, get out there, lay your eyes on something. Nothing is too humble to be admired. Never underestimate the power of telling someone you love or care about, or simply a stranger, telling them how wonderful they are, how beautiful they look today, how great you think it is that their hair lays like that, how wonderful you think they are in their perfect, unique self. Be the love of the universe in big and small ways as best as you can. Reality shifts and changes and adjusts. It rises and we rise and our world rises around us when we participate in the goodness. Thank you for joining me today in the garden on this second planting of Beet Day. Perfectly hot and also raining. One of my favorite types of weathers. Blessings, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that